How many types of corn can you name?
Sweet corn, street corn,
Tortilla.
popcorn, high fructose corn syrup,
Cornbread.
corn muffin.
Cornmeal. Cornucopia.
Ooh, that's gorgeous. I'm Tyler Joseph Ellis.
I'm Maya Lagerstam.
And we're about to embark on the SHUCKED national tour
And we're here with the Conversationalist
to play Agree
to Disagree.
Welcome to POVz. And huge congrats on booking a very exciting role.
Thank you.
How does it feel?
I'm nervous.
I'm a little
but excited.
nervous. I mean, I don't know. People are being so supportive and we've been sitting on this news since May.
Yeah. It's
So
been a minute.
being able to talk about it is a huge
You
relief.
didn't know you knew since May.
Since May.
It's been
Wow.
it's been a
That video that I took
minute.
of me telling my family
Yeah.
was on Mother's Day.
I know so much of your role is being able to interact with each other on stage as the two narrators. And obviously your relationship on stage is different than in real life. But what's key to both is that you have a lot of interesting banter, a lot of interesting back and forth, and maybe some disagreement. So I think we should explore that today.
That's what we call a segue. Good at her job.
And we're going to play a game called Agree to Disagree.
Love
So
it.
grab these whiteboards. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a perspective from our Gen Z community. You're going to write down on your whiteboard whether you agree or disagree, and then we're going to talk about it. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Corn is disgusting and bad for your health. I said it.
Oh my gosh, my handwriting is
I'm
terrible.
all of a sudden confronted with that too. I've heard
Oh my
on a
God.
whiteboard and some tests.
It's really bad.
I'm like,
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Okay,
okay.
Wow.
Disagree.
Okay.
Disagree.
Why do you disagree? Is this just because you feel biased towards corn now?
it's like we'd be fired if he said otherwise.
No, I feel like that would be crazy. But I can imagine them do no. I mean, I grew up in Illinois. So like I am born in Field City. I literally have a bowl of Chipotle over there with the corn salsa.
Oh.
in it. I love corn.
So good.
When I get Chipotle, I actually don't get the corn. I actually don't like corn in its original
Wrap it up.
form.
Wow.
To be completely
Why?
honest with you, I think
I was sitting here the whole time being like, what do you mean corn in its original?
and it's corn. Call for it.
How many types of corn can you name?
Sweet corn, street corn,
Tortilla.
popcorn, high fructose corn syrup,
Cornbread.
corn muffin.
Cornmeal. Cornucopia.
Ooh, that's
Mm.
gorgeous. Corn nuts, cream corn, canned corn.
Canned corn.
Would you count candy corn?
No.
I don't think it's not really corn.
If you could have one type
Can't
of
do it.
corn in
Alright.
your dressing room on
Can't do
tour, what would it be?
Corn nuts.
Mine is elote.
So good.
Ay, mi amor, ay, mi amor.
Mexican street
Wow.
corn.
Wait,
mom.
tamales.
So good.
That's like using.
Oh,
There it goes.
I choose
Throughout
that one
our
now.
conversation, if you keep thinking of other types of corn,
I'm just gonna shout them out.
as
Yeah.
you should. That was a good start.
I think we
We're already talking
Yeah.
about corn. This is great.
And I feel like we're this is good.
Okay, this one's a little controversial.
Ooh.
Broadway revivals are way better than the original productions. And 3, 2, 1, go.
Our first disagreement.
Okay.
You start.
Because I was almost gonna say agree.
Yeah.
I do like them better.
Yeah.
And I think they're more informed. However, they can't be good if we didn't have the original material, you know? Like,
It's an excellent point.
That's such a good perspective.
Of course, like I do fall more in the middle, but I committed to the agree. Because of where we are now, we can really wrong a lot of rights. We can right a lot of wrongs. now.
Yes.
And I think, especially in terms of diversity and in terms of like storytelling, and I just saw like a run of Our Town, like the revival happening right now. And then there's just like different perspectives in it, and they're not even like commenting on them. It's just like, we get to do this version of the show now, and the original version of the show does not look anything like. So I think of a revival and how successful. I think about Parade and how that breathed new
Yes.
life into it. I think about the Once on This Island revival. I'm like naming all the
Yes.
Michael Arden projects, like Spring Awakening as well. Come on, Michael Arden. You know how to do a revival.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Oh yeah, being able to
Whoa,
kind of like
Oklahoma.
excavate all those things is really, really exciting.
I think
people
that was
are
some
gonna-
healthy disagreement.
No, I
must
mean,
say.
because I'm like
Of
on the
course.
same page.
But I totally agree.
But
But I agree with you as well.
Yeah.
It's like you had to have the original first.
you have to.
Totally.
One
So
doesn't
why
make
not
sense.
both?
So why not
Okay,
both?
We
no,
love
those
nuance.
steps. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that was great.
Mwah, mwah.
Expiration dates on food are merely a suggestion. 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
Thank God.
oh my God. I was wondering. I was like, we'll see. We'll see.
Come on.
I just don't. I think there are some cases
yeah.
where
Like
I'm
what?
like, you can push it a little.
Like what?
I'm thinking about like if you have a can of beans and it said that it expired a month ago, I think you can still
Oh,
eat
yeah. It's
them.
a can of beans.
It's a can of beans. There's other things though, like milk.
Milk. Nope. No dairy products. I don't.
Well, a lot of people say it's like go with your nose, and I'm like, I don't trust my nose.
I don't trust my
I
nose.
don't trust her. I don't trust her gifts.
She's not my
I do think that there's a sprinkle of capitalism in them wanting you to throw it away and buy another one. I do think there's something
That's
there.
an interesting
I do think that
Love that.
there's some capitalism
There's definitely
afoot,
capitalism.
as there is all the time.
What would you say to someone who thinks that?
To each their own. To each their own. I say do whatever you want because it's to choose your own adventure.
Don't yuck someone's
I'm
yum.
not yucking their yum.
But I am concerned for those who that is their yum.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a day
Pushing
or two.
the
I get it, but it's
day
like,
or
if
two
it's
is
light
Living
suggestion.
life on the edge.
Yeah, right.
And
I
if you're
envy them.
cooking with it as opposed to like having
Eating
it
it.
solid, like just a
Slowly.
With that, let's go to our next
Next question.
Next question.
People who shame other people for opening their candy during a show or a movie need to chill. We're all just trying to eat. And a 3, 2, 1. Whoa. Okay, Maya, you start.
Okay, like I know wait, I think I heard the question right.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's embarrassing. I feel embarrassed whenever I have food that I want to eat.
Yeah.
But like, what am I gonna do? Leave the theater in order for that to happen? Like, if you can just do it like real, I think it's fine.
I think a movie totally acceptable.
But
I just think theater is so expensive, and a lot of people that are in that room are maybe visiting. Let's say Broadway, visiting New York, and they maybe seeing one show. And I'm like, if you have the gall to open something, it's like, and there's an intermission most likely. It's like you only have to go about an hour, a little over an hour without having that thing that you bought. It might be a little frustrating. You might be really hungry. I've completely been there. But I'm like, if it at all disturbs the people around you, that is an inherently selfish choice.
that was a really great agree to disagree.
I think so too.
I think you see a lot of each other's
I think so too.
perspective.
I think so too.
And what's amazing is that I feel like we're both keeping our things into consideration and then just still coming to our
And still coming to
conclusions.
our-
Yeah,
which I
yes,
think is
and,
breathtaking.
if you will.
I think that's
Yes,
gorgeous.
and. Who'd have
Okay,
thunk?
next prop. LGBTQ actors should not play straight roles. 3, 2, 1.
Great.
Okay, say more.
I mean, straight people have been playing queer roles for years. May as well have the reverse.
And I think sometimes I think it is fine for a straight person to play a gay person when the story isn't about being queer.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's just some like, oh, just like also like, by the way, this is like my person or whatever. I'm like, yeah, because we're actors. We're people.
Sure.
We've all loved someone before. We don't have to be gay or straight or whatever to know what it's like to love someone, to be able to tap into that. So I think that's fine. I think when it's like, when you're playing a historically gay figure, it's really weird that you would just not cast.
For me, honestly, shows just like laziness on behalf of the teams involved. And I understand like certain people get butts in seats. I completely understand that. And sometimes I think about my favorite queer performances and they're done by straight men. I'm thinking about Brokeback Mountain. I'm thinking about, things like that. I'm like, it just, you have to overcorrect. And then the pendulum, it reaches equilibrium. And I just think like with queer roles, may as well just cast some queer people in them.
It's just so not hard.
Do you think your point of view on this extends to also characters who have a specific background, whether racial, religious, and having the person play the part that's from that?
Maybe it's naive in me to think, but I think if you're trying to play a character that has a specific background, you're from that background, it makes, I think, everyone's job a little easier. But at the same time, some of the best performances we have are like revolutionary performances that are completely different, transformative. Like the great, Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm thinking about the people that go like method. Right. But I think there are certain lines where, especially if it's been traditionally sort of marginalized people not getting to tell their stories, I think let's overcorrect now and then we'll readdress when it feels like there's a little bit more justice in the industry. Right. I'm always a fan of overcorrecting.
I just think that there's also, though, this like weird thing, especially among straight white men who are actors who are like, everyone's taking my roles. I'm like, no, like you don't need to play something you're not in order to be transformative. Like I don't need to play like an Asian woman in order to play someone different from myself. That's not a part of the journey that is transformative. It's like with Daniel Day-Lewis, it's not like he had to like,
you're right,
be he just was a different person.
That's such a good point. Yeah, it's like just because it might be a different something,
right,
doesn't mean that they're not a completely fully formed person that is different than
person.
you.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be. Yeah.
I love that you're learning new things about each other.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, good point. I'm with that. I'm with that.
Oh my god.
But it's a good question.
Touring companies of productions are often better than the original cast.
I can't answer that. Wait,
3, 2, 1.
I said different, not better.
Wow.
And
Not an option in this game.
okay, and I'm saying disagree because I am disagreeing with the word often
Oh,
because it can be all.
of
I
course.
think it could be always. I think it could be sometimes. I think it could be. I think there are other words that we could use other than often, and that's why I'm disagreeing with the statement because I don't agree with the word often.
I hear you.
see,
I'm a politician.
I was about to say, like, both of us, that was really...
Kiss your baby.
Because, well, I'm trying to think, I haven't had the immense privilege of seeing an original company and then seeing a touring show.
Me too.
Only a couple times did that happen.
So this is interesting because the two of you are about to
I know.
over a touring company of an incredible Broadway show. What are your thoughts about taking the show on the road? And what do you want people to know heading into this tour?
I love this show, and I feel like an immense responsibility to keep it as magical as it was. I saw it 6 times on Broadway, and
I've never.
and just, but I feel like I really, and I've told Gray Henson this, who originated the role. I was like, sitting in the audience, and Gray has really been a pioneer in like playing queer joy on like a Broadway stage, and then now I like. This is kind of a rambling answer, but I've like been there seeing like the Jimmy Awards and the awards that happened before the Jimmy Awards, which is the High School Musical Theater Awards, and people playing Damien and these queer kids in school getting to play roles like this. And I feel an immense responsibility with that torch because I can't help but think of the high school productions of this show that are coming later. And it's still a musical. It's like a musical comedy. It's about corn and everything. But comedy's changed the world. I'm excited. I'm pumped.
Everyone needs a good chuckle.
Chuckle!
And that's what.
Bruh.
That was amazing. Chris, how are you going to do this on stage?
I have no idea. How are we going to get through this?
I don't know. And they didn't. We have like freedom. Like we're allowed to.
We're hopefully like, yeah.
We're allowed to like do other things.
We'll see.
What are you most excited for this tour?
Oh, I mean, like, it's so funny. I just think it's going to be a big party. And that's what I love to do. 365. Pretty good. Like,
as someone who's seen the show, I think it's really beautiful how there's this collective moment in the audience where everyone just has this sigh of relief when you realize that it is just fun.
It's just fun.
And it's rare that you get that nowadays.
That's why I think why I loved it so much. It made me laugh so hard. Yeah. And it wasn't making fun of anyone. And what happens when you leave your comfort zone? That's like what Maisie does. She leaves her echo chamber.
Sounds very similar.
It sounds very similar to
this, right? The last prompt says,
better be juicy.
The world would be a much better place if we all agreed. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, incredible.
Wow.
Incredible. To that we say, disagree.
I'm obviously selfishly happy to hear you say that, but talk me through your thought process.
Imagine that world. I just think it would be so uninteresting and zero room for growth. Because of course, immediately when I heard that question, I'm like, okay, then everyone agreeing with me and all of my thoughts. And I'm like, I'm imperfect and I have so much learning to do all the time. So if I was never challenged and my worldviews were never challenged, I would be such a less of a human being and less of a citizen of the world.
And also, if we're thinking about it in like a dystopian way, like, is it like we all agree, like whoever is the loudest in the room is the voice that we follow?
Yeah.
Like, what if we're like, if that's what it is, like not just like, oh, it's my opinion, but it's like someone else's that we all take on. Like that sucks too.
I mean, I agree with you both. And I think it's a good reminder that there's something really interesting about having different perspectives. While it may be really challenging at times, the world arguably could be much more boring, more monotonous if we all felt and thought the same way.
You can feel like you're stuck in an echo chamber. And for a little bit, it's fun. And then when you realize like, oh, this is not what I was like, I just realizing that everyone's just saying the same things over and over again. Then we're just listening to ourselves talk, not each other. I think I'm excited to like, with Tyler and with the rest of the cast, just like when we're hanging out after we have the show under our belt, just like getting to know each other
Mm.
and all of that. And we're also going to so many different towns
Yes.
where we're going to be in such different communities everywhere we go.
And it's an election.
And
here.
it's during an election.
And that is really top of mind.
Yeah.
And figuring out how to, regardless of what happens in November, how we can lead with kindness and joy, despite, if we're in a state that we didn't agree with,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. That's going to be part
That's
of
gonna
it.
be crazy.
I want to stay up to date. Please keep me posted.
Of course.
And I'm always here if you want to have a conversation.
Love you so.
Thank
Love
you
you
both
so.
so much for being
Thanks
here.
for having us.
This is great.